Having a blast, gonna get it on the Bruce Lee podcast. Bruce Lee like Bruce Lee, cause it's so hard and the T is loose leaf. Making up those rhymes, don't write it, just do it loosely. If you want my respect, you better put direct. Here are the words in the podcast, that's what comes next.
Morning, wherever you may be in the world, we are going to be running a marketing review live, and I'm very, very excited because for this marketing review live, I've actually got with me the person who we're going to be running the marketing review live for. So what is a marketing review? I like to do this every couple of months. Basically, I ask a couple of questions to a host, and we get all the answers that we need. And then what I do is I take those answers and then I share my screen, so you'll be able to see this with us while watching live or on the replay. And we'll just go through website, social media, Google search. And the whole point and the whole goal of this is to have 1 to 3 actionable tips that our host that is watching or doing this with us can take away to put into practice to get bookings in the short, medium and long term. Let's bring on today's guest, today's host. Sasha, are you there? Yeah, we are. That's amazing. So, hi, Sasha. Hello. Thank you for doing this. And thank you for coming on and doing this live with me. I know this isn't normal, but it's awesome.
Great to be picked to do it. I'm honoured. It's great. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolute pleasure. So first and foremost, can you please just give a super quick intro, who you are, your property, and where you are in the world?
Yeah, so I'm Sasha. I'm based in Hertfordshire. I run SA business Jeswood Properties in Hertfordshire, and I've been running it about 8 months now. I got set up in the middle of the pandemic. I kind of didn't follow the crowd and just did what felt right at the time. And so far it's paid off, and I'm really enjoying it. And I'm looking forward to learning how to market it on any scale, because I don't do a great deal now, and scaling it for the future as well.
We're going to go through the form that you filled in. So everybody that does a marketing review, we fill in a form, and that form gives me all the information that we need. So let's see if this technology is going to work. Here we go. So Sasha, can you still hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Fantastic. And I can hear you, which is brilliant. So normally when I do a marketing review, it's just me talking to the computer and people can tune in. The reason why I asked Sasha to come on with me is that if we've got any follow-up questions, then we've got Sasha literally on the call with us, which is awesome. And what I would love as well is, as you are watching in the comments or watching on the live or on the replay, just let us know what you're doing. So let's begin. So this is the form. Name, we've already done that. Business, Jeswood Properties. Location is England. How many years have you been in business? Coming up to 1. How many properties do you own or manage? Which is 1. What of these best describe your business, which is service accommodation? And what is the breakdown of your guests that you mostly attract to the property, which is business guests? How many people in your team, which is 2, and what is the average nightly stay in your property? You've got 3 to 5. Which of the following best describes how you interact with your guest? Hands-on. So I send them guest confirmation email, I contact them pre and post stay, and I interact with the guests during the stay. And what is your Facebook page business URL? So we've got Jeswood Properties. I'll check it out in a second. We've got the Instagram account, and we've got the website, which we'll go to in a second. And who designed your website? So a website designer did it. When was the website created? Which was last year. Really important question is, do you have access to Google Analytics? Yes. And how many visitors do you get a month? Less than 500. Are you happy with the website? I don't really know if it's working or not, which is, absolutely fine. Being a young website. Which of these companies do you use for your online booking engine? PMS, which is Smoobu. When a guest finds your property, there's a very high chance that the first time is going to be via an OTA. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that, number 1, we are optimizing our listing accordingly. So Sasha did a really good example of this in the Airbnb. You talked about, your property, etc., your company. So that meant that they could then go onto Google and find you. So if I share my Google search now, so I just did a quick search for Jeswood Properties. And as you can see, this is what comes up. This is really key in a lot of ways, because this is the first impression for a lot of people. What I would do, very simply, is I would just make sure that this, because the hours is technically more for cafes, you know, like hairdressers, takeaways and whatnot. I'd put that to 24 hours. At the end of the day, if somebody calls that number, does it divert to a voicemail or have you got like an answer set up or you know, text message?
That number, it diverts to my mobile phone.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it goes to voicemail or not, because I normally pick it up.
Yeah.
But
Well,
at the moment, I don't think it does. So probably, if I'm going to do 24 hours, I probably do need to get some kind of answering service there.
yeah, that doesn't mean that you have to be awake 24 hours or on 24 hours. It just means that they know that they can, you know, reach out. Say, for example, if it's like, say 8 or, you know, in the evening, you know, whatever. It just means that it'll show up more. It just makes it accessible. Right here is what's called above the fold. It's the most important part of your website because this is where the first impression is. You do, and your website designer and yourself have done a really good job in covering a lot of like the key areas. So the book now button is in a different color. It's got a big box around it. It's really clear. And the top right hand corner, if anybody's been listening to any of my things that I've been saying, is the top right hand corner is so key because that's the buying zone. The one thing that I would look to change, and we did mention it quickly beforehand, is this tagline, because this tagline is so important. Your main people, your main type of guest, we call it an avatar, your client avatar, your customer avatar, your ideal guest. You want to get them to read this and fully understand what Just with Properties is all about and who it attracts. Now, I've said this to you before we came on, but I love your website. It's laid out really nicely. All the property highlights, benefits of booking direct, which I reckon 90% of people watching this aren't doing right now. Straight into the testimonials, straight into reviews, ready to book, FAQs. It's laid out perfectly. It's not over the top. It's just clean, clear. Pictures are great. You know exactly what's about it. Why choose us? Property highlights. It's perfect. So well done. I like that you've done the post here, just giving everybody like the update, which is great. Just saying we're still open for business. But what I would be looking to do here is I would just be posting on your social media, and every time you post, really target it towards your ideal audience. So whether this is Facebook, whether this is LinkedIn, I would just be figuring out who your ideal guest, customer avatar is, all of that jazz, and just be creating the content around that. Because what you'll find is that if you start doing that, then people will start to come onto your page and then go, okay, so Just with Properties, this is made for contractors. You know, whoever your target niche is going to be moving forward, whoever you decide that's going to be, whatever you put out there online needs to be aimed towards that. So I've just gone on to Luton here, Luton Town Business Network. There's a group right there you could join. Bedfordshire Business. I don't know if you're part of any of these groups.
No, I don't think I am. I think I'm more part of the private rentals group in Luton. Yeah, rather than the business groups. Yeah. So that's something I need to look at, I think. Just
join one or two and just start joining in the conversation. There was another really good suggestion last week in our training group, which mentioned about maybe look at joining the local BNI group in Luton. The only other thing that I would be doing that you're not currently doing is utilizing email marketing. Now you may be thinking, well, Mark, I've only got one property at the moment. You know, I don't need to, but like the goal here is to not be the one property. The goal is to get 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is when, if you start now, and if you can start now, even if you just send an email once a month, and you know, this is going to be going to the contractors, you know, more often than not. If you can get people onto your email list and start emailing them, you can. Yeah. The beauty of it doing now is that you can do it on a one-on-one basis.
Whoa, having a blast. Gonna get it on the Boostly podcast. Boostly like Bruce Lee, cause it's so hard and the T is loose leaf. Making up those rhymes, don't write it, just do it loosely.